Hello there. Liz Truss is talking tough today, but will she act tomorrow? Liz Truss, the UK Foreign Secretary and post-Brexit negotiator, has come out fighting today with an article in the Telegraph where she says that the EU either has to relent on the Northern Ireland Protocol or watch as the UK triggers Article 16. But haven't we heard all this before from the previous post-Brexit negotiator, Lord David Frost? Frosty kept talking tough and explaining why the UK should trigger Article 16 and why we are in our rights to do so. But there was always something holding him back, and yet another meeting to be had with his Brussels counterpart, EU Commission Vice President Maroš Šefčovič. And although Liz talks tough today, she is still to have her first meeting with Šefčovič this coming Thursday. So like many other Brexiteers, I remain hopeful that progress can be made, but Brussels, I think, will still play hardball. The EU, and especially the Republic of Ireland, are intent on using the protocol to switch as much trade and control over Northern Ireland away from the UK as they can manage, in the hope that the people of Northern Ireland will get more and more accustomed to looking to the Republic of Ireland and to the EU for its trade, politics and lawmaking. They do not care if the pro-UK unionist and loyalist community feels hard done by or upset at being separated from the rest of the UK. That's just tough as far as Dublin and Brussels are concerned. In fact, I get the impression that those looking to force a united Ireland are quite enjoying sticking it to their unionist rivals. Now, for her part, Truss says that she wants to protect the progress made so far by the Belfast Agreement in securing peace and stability in Northern Ireland. That is why, having taken on EU negotiations, my absolute priority is to deal with the issues in the protocol that could threaten those hard-won gains, she writes. But she goes on to say that the way the protocol is working, its unintended consequences are having a profound impact, and not to the good. And then comes the usual bit about when meeting with Šefčovič on Thursday, she'll be putting forward her constructive proposals to resolve the situation. How many constructive proposals have been put forward thus far? And none of note have been acceptable to Brussels. Anyway, I'll take you back to where she said unintended consequences are having a profound effect. Sorry, Liz, these are not unintended consequences as far as Dublin and Brussels are concerned. They were saying that they would be using the protocol as an economic weapon well before we signed on the dotted line. In fact, they couldn't have made it any plainer. And their actions over the last year speak, or should I say, shout, their intentions far more loudly than any words they could use. But it is great to hear Truss explaining the truth about the position of Northern Ireland. The protocol effectively leaves Northern Ireland within the single market, but technically it is not. Northern Ireland is not in the single market, writes Truss, and shouldn't be treated as if it is. We are proposing a common sense solution. Goods going to the EU should go through customs formalities, and those staying in the United Kingdom should not. But then she says the UK will continue to protect their single market by checking goods going over this new Irish sea border. Now, Truss does make it clear that the ECJ must lose its jurisdiction over Northern Ireland and be replaced by an independent form of arbitration. Independent arbitration is the international norm for such agreements, and that is what we want to see. As I have said, we need to end the role of the European Court of Justice as the final arbiter of disputes. And she also states, "Let me be clear. I will not sign up to anything which sees the people of Northern Ireland unable to benefit from the same decisions on taxation and spending as the rest of the UK, or which still sees goods moving within our own country being subject to checks. And in the heading to her piece, she lays it out quite clearly. I will trigger Article 16 if the EU does not cooperate. The trouble for me is that this issue of Article 16 has been conflated out of all proportion. It's simply a clause in a contract between two parties who agreed to it being there. And if the criteria are met, then it should be used. What is so controversial about that? And given that the EU did attempt to use Article 16, however briefly, to try and stop medical products moving from the EU to the UK via the Irish border, tells you all you need to know. And Brussels hadn't even bothered to tell either London or Dublin of those intentions. That shows you the contempt Eurocrats have for the laws they sign up to. And worse, Brussels says it reserves the right to do the same again when the mood takes them. If the criteria have been met for the UK to use Article 16, then we must use it, because every day we do not just further normalises the annexation of Northern Ireland by Brussels. And that is what Brussels is aiming to do. Normalise its annexation of a part of the UK. Something they communicate very clearly to us when they try to make it appear as some sort of criminal act for the UK to very legitimately use a legal clause in a legal treaty. Brussels is attempting to make out that the Article 16 clause is some sort of nuclear button that destroys the whole withdrawal agreement and the trade and cooperation agreement to boot. But only if the UK uses it. If the boot were truly on the other foot, Brussels would have used it months ago. But it isn't, it's simply an available legal instrument to remedy any adverse effects on one side due to the way the protocol is applied. If the EU, applauded by the Ramonas, can use Article 16 where vaccines are concerned, then why can't the UK use it where trees and pets, for example, are concerned? Here's what Liz Truss says on that. My priority is to protect peace and stability in Northern Ireland. I want a negotiated solution, but if we have to use legitimate provisions, including Article 16, I am willing to do that. Great to hear, but we have heard all of this before. What we don't need is the usual when someone is new in the job, the reinvention of the wheel instead of moving forwards. Truss continues. The safeguard clause was explicitly designed and agreed to by all sides to ease acute problems because of the sensitivity of the issues at play. Yes, but don't wield it like the triggering of Armageddon. It is merely a route to a remedy. Play it like that. The EU has already invoked this article to introduce a hard border for vaccine exports, and even in the act of withdrawing it, insisted on its right to do so again in the future. If the EU feels comfortable in using it or holding it openly in reserve, why on earth does the UK treat it like some sort of highly radioactive toxin? Everyone knows the EU will not give an inch. So let's get on with it and rip that plaster off today. So what's your opinion on these threats from Liz Truss? Please like and comment below. Please subscribe and like this video, buy a mug and support me on Patreon or PayPal, and thank you for watching.